I already told you that it says about the size of the economy. From others' point of view, it may be a market size. We are fourth, and there is likelihood that we may reach third position by 2030. So we are happy enough. But if I say that reality is that we are not that much well-being, our well-being is not that high because it is the population dynamics that matters. Our per capita income is only 2,878.453 PPP dollar, and our rank is 166. Our rank is, I said that 168 out of 221 countries. So even if we are the fastest growing economy, fourth largest economy, but in per capita GDP, we are the 168th position holder out of 221 countries. That is the reality. We want to be a developed state Viksit Bharat by 2047. But for that, what do we need? That there was in Odisha Economic Association conference in Sambalpur University 56th conference where Professor M. Govindra, students please listen, where Professor M. Govindra was delivering his keynote address, where he told that if India is to reach a position of developed nation, in the coming 25 years, India is to progress at the rate of 9% economic growth. We have at present achieved economic growth rate of 6.4%, and tariff if the tariff imposed on India by USA continues, our growth rate will be reduced to 6.2%. That is the estimation. So if we can achieve 9% rate of economic growth, then only we will be able to reach, achieve the position of a developed economy by 2047. So what we should do and how we can go? Yes, our resources are the human capital or human resource. Okay, we have the, okay, another thing I must tell you, because when we dream something we must also see our past and present scenario. If we see our past efforts, how India has moved over the years from 1980 to 2029 estimated, what is the per capita GDP of USA, India as a percentage of per capita GDP of US. We had only 2% share or proportion wise of US GDP in 1980, and it has improved to just 3%, and it will likely to reach 4% by 2029. But our counterpart neighbor China has improved like anything. From 2% in 1980, it has reached to 17% or at present 16% of the share of US's GDP. So here we can say our progress with our neighbor China, whom we compare in that way, is not that much encouraging. So growth, we say that we are the fastest growing economy, but in well-being we are not that much successful in improving the well-being of our people. We have the resource, I said that we have a favorable demography, that is the youth population. Why youth? Because youth are the future. They have the motivation. They can transform the economy. So this youth population, the 14 to 29 age group people in the country, they constitute the largest population of a country in the world. Their number is 371 million. And if I see their proportion in the total population that we see, it is 26%, 26.6% in 91, and it has increased to 27% we can say, or in at present, but it is likely to decline over time. Why I am saying that? This high proportion of youth population is our resource, but that is not long lasting. In future we may lose it. So when time is there, we should reap the benefit. We should convert this population, that is youth population, into human capital. Then only we will be able to achieve higher rate of economic growth, and then a developed nation or Vikasit Bharat. Now the question is whether we are ready to harness this human resource. Now, how we can harness this human resource? Through converting them human capital. And that requires enrollment and their learning, and whether this learning is affordable to them or not. And after learning, whether they are engaged in productive activities or not. So my point here is enrollment, learning and affordability, and finally their participation in the productive activities. In economics, what we say, in the work or labor force participation. So here I show you how that education, through education we can transform our economy. The SDG 4. Education can promote economic growth. There are studies from 1960 onward which gave the estimation regarding that expenditure on education is not an expenditure on current, that is consumption expenditure. It is an investment expenditure. In the American Economic Association's annual conference in 1960, T.W. Schultz has said that expenditure on education is an investment. And the rate of return on that investment is not less than the rate of return on any other physical investment. That created the concept of human capital development and the rate of return analysis. There are studies by Schultz, Sacharopoulos, Baker, which have shown us the rate of return from education investment. Here I have given you some studies reports. That global report, that is studies by Sacharopoulos in 2002, has shown that average return per year on education was 10%. World Bank study shows that it is around 9 to 10%. There are studies from India, recent one I say that, 2011, 2019, which also indicate that if we spend on education, there will be